I wanted to bring Brad up, and I wanted to get him to give us his take on when he becomes, let me change that, the governor, what his thoughts are regarding human trafficking in the state. And I'm turning it over to Brad.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to you today. So it's really great. I came here today just to listen and be informed, and Steve asked me to get up and say a few words. So it's great to see so many friends. Mark Cisneros here and Doug Campbell from the legislature, and then so many others. But let me just get straight to the point. There's so many things to talk about when it comes to human trafficking, but we all know, we all have heard the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident. And that means anyone should understand this, right? That all men are created equal and they're endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and that among these rights are life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, and that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. And he was talking about, I have to sidetrack here just a minute, because he was talking about democracy versus republic and just powers from the consent of the governed. We are a nation of laws. Our laws come from the Constitution, and we don't need a mob telling us what's right and wrong. Our rights come from God. God tells us what's right and wrong. And that's what the Declaration tells us. But life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, there's a lot of different issues that could fall under those categories. But when it comes to human trafficking, it's a liberty issue. There's just one simple word for human trafficking. It's called slavery. It's worse slavery than we had before the Civil War. It's a slavery that just takes people and breaks them down way beyond anything we can even imagine. And I've had the pleasure of participating in several of Stacy's presentations. So this is a plague that has to go away in our state. I think Mark Thompson was here earlier. Mark talked about several key issues. I won't go over those, but I'm very familiar with Mark and the work he's doing with human trafficking. One of the big things that we need to do with human trafficking, besides the things that we've already heard, is that the governor's office can be a megaphone. It can be a megaphone. Awareness is one of the biggest issues that we're dealing with when it comes to human trafficking. And I can guarantee you, as governor, we will use that megaphone to its fullest extent to expose human trafficking, because it's been living in the shadows, and the time for it to come out of the shadows and be seen and exposed to the sunlight is now, and it has to happen. So that's just going to be a really big part of that. So I want to get back to just one last quote that I like to use. It's from George Orwell. I don't even know much about the guy, but I read this quote and I thought it made a lot of sense. He said, "In a world filled with lies and deceit, speaking the truth is a revolutionary act." And that's what we have to be, as truth tellers. Charlie Kirk was speaking the truth. He was effective and he was speaking the truth, and they tried to silence him. But I'm here to tell you today that they have not silenced him. They have only amplified his voice 10,000 times 10,000 because of all the people that his life touched. And he has become a martyr that will ring throughout history. And now is the time to speak the truth. And now is the time, one of the things I hope to do even in campaigning is to raise up an army of truth tellers who are no longer intimidated, no longer afraid. We will no longer let the left have the narrative. We're going to speak truth. We're not going to be afraid to speak of God in the halls of government, because our nation was founded on those principles. And that's what we're going to do when we become governor. So thank you.